question here. It's about even. Oh, we're getting underway. It's about even. It kind of varies just like the other stuff, but pretty similar.
And we have different stats already. We saw the same thing yesterday. Well, didn't saw because it was offline, but we had the same start from PRD the last time.
Yep, PR going straight over to Hobo, it seems. Eriror going up to Uncle, gonna go see these quick couple items up this way. I thought he was going for the Lake Hylia auto walk glitch, but nope, he was just going for Hobo.
He did the same favor to me yesterday.
Speaking of yesterday, for those who didn't see, these two got an absolutely ridiculous seed. Eriror finished with a 108 collection rate, so 50% of the items, and finished at just over 110. PR was not far behind with a 117 something, if I recall, both of which were faster than the fastest seed that anyone knew of at the time, so... A couple quick questions.
For the tracker is the shield. Kind of useless.
You know, I actually have a couple of visual tells that I've unintentionally made with the shield that are super inconvenient the moment I get an upgrade.
For the most part, just use the mirror or what's the Link's Shadow or the sword if I have one.
So while we do these early checks here, just a quick rundown of what the logic expects here. There's going to be boots clipping, which is going into diagonal ledges a couple pixels at a time at most. And then, depending on which pixel you stop on, when you hold into the ledge, you either teleport upwards or teleport downwards. Both of those are going to give you different results that can get you into some places at different times. There are super speed clips. If you arm spin speed or hook speed, and walk into a diagonal ledge at a good angle, you will also clip through the ledges. The other main one that's actually in logic is mirror clipping, which is kind of using your portal and the differences in the world layout to move yourself around. Hey, an ice rod! But yeah, to move yourself around in ways that the dark world would not allow you to get through some other ledges. There are a lot of other major glitches in the seeds, but they are not required by logic for the most part. They're mostly just stuff that you can do.
Yeah, it would usually otherwise just boil down to who finds the boots first and then who can use those boots for the best things. A nice knowledge of PRD there. I never knew that there is a bomb drop there.
Yeah, I actually learned that from him, I believe, after we did a race the other day. He told me about those bonk rocks. I'm like, hey, this is a nice way to start. So far we've really only gotten the ice rod and nothing really meaningful otherwise.
We got a lumberjack check earlier with nothing on there. Egger one will be kinda useless unless we have something major on the pyramid with no available bottles or other things to get it.
Blind's Hut, fitting for the den of a thief, you know, has all the money. So they got money for Zora to do all the stuff that requires money, and some money to play around with, which if they get a bottle will open up some nice stuff for them.
And we got a quick map check. Crystal 6 at Desert and a pendant at Eastern.
Yep, and then Hera was number 7, so Crystal 6, Crystal 5, and 6, I should say, don't matter nearly as much in this mode, but they're still worth noting. It could end up requiring you to do it legit. Also, both runners get the blue mail, which is a nice pickup early. It's not something that either of them are probably going to feel like they need, but you're not going to complain about early blue mail.
Yeah, especially since so you will probably go to Darkworld, well, you have at least access to Darkworld quite early. So having some additional protection is definitely nice.
The race game has a heart container, so we're not going to get that, but we are going to do one of the most common clips in this mode, clipping up to Desert. It's going to line up for a downwards... Oh, no.
You actually get the heart, if he remembers the inputs.
Yep, unfortunately, without a way to buffer that input, he missed it and said, nah, I'm not going to try that again, I'm just moving on. So yeah, he's going to get a downwards teleport here. It's a slightly different alignment than most other clips for that one, but it lets him walk right over this ledge down the desert, and hey, here we are, Sphere 1 Desert Palace. And to those who said that there was a worst Kakariko they've seen in a while, some of that has to do with the fact that there's so much more Sphere 1. Kakariko's odds of having those early progression items is a lot lower, just because there are a lot more options for where they could be. Both runners making the desert start, Eriror using the combination of the boomerang and some bombs to kill these popos. It's an effective strategy. Unfortunately, no bomb capacity upgrades to hold that 8 bomb drop.
It would have been funny to if the next item he picks up is a bomb caster, you know.
And we saw both items in Desert while we were in here, a red rupee and a piece of heart. That is, that's unfortunate. Also, PR does not have the boomerang, so he has to do this a little bit more difficult of a way.
And yeah, we see an arena check. It's much more easy to roll arena in early in Overworld, just because there is usually an early check, and you can just from here go over to K45 actually.
Yeah, that was a clip I actually learned from watching Faraime and checks last night, along with a few other ones that you could just get to K45 from here. I thought that you had to be up at the checkerboard cave area to get there. Oh dear, what did you do to your screen, Eri?
Nothing unusual for Overworld, that's just so. And there's a bomb capacity, and he doesn't want it.
Yeah, I guess with 8 bombs as the sun prize and a boomerang, you don't really care all that much how many bombs you have at a given moment. So now he's trying to set up a downwards clip here so that he can go around the rock that would block him I was going to say around this rock here that would otherwise block him from going straight to the dam. Instead, he's going to have to walk around.
Or set up a clip right here to jump onto the other ledge. Just make sure to not jump into this little place with the dark portal. You can't get out.
I forgot that was a possible clip. There are a lot of clips in this mode.
Yeah, technically if you see a ledge that's diagonal, you can probably clip there somehow.
It is worth watching for the noting for those watching. This tournament had a very low amount of people join. We have 24 people involved in it. A lot of that, I think, is people watch these races and they see all the crazy stuff these runners do, and they're like, that seems really difficult. The actual logic required to beat the seeds is actually very simple to learn, but it's the optimizations and all the little different places where you can get an advantage by clipping. That's really what takes the time to learn, is just how to maximize the benefit the glitches offer you. Just getting through a seed, not bad at all.
And if you actually interested, over in a link to the past Randomizer Discord, we got a channel called Glitch Modes with a lot of people that really would love to help you. Just ask and we will help you out.
Hey, we get a glove in Mini Moldorm Cave. That opens Checkerboard Cave and nothing else.
Well, for some dungeons you still require the glove, like in Ice Palace you can't beat Ice Palace without a glove at the end, but for the most part we can skip the gloves, because we can just go in the Dark World on this mountain and get down from there.
Yep, it's always nice to find the glove though, just that you have that quicker route up to the Dark World. So here's a little logic quirk. The well-known Boots water walk you can set up in Ice Rod Cave is not actually in logic. So the Waterfall Fairy, despite being easily accessible with this trick that PR and now Eriror are setting up, is actually not in logic until they find the Moon Pearl, due to, I believe, kind of a holdover logic from when this glitch was ironically glitched in V28. Also, I guess worth noting, I didn't mention it earlier, but all minor glitches are also accounted for. So if you can do something as a minor glitch, unlike in no glitches mode, it's not just, you know, the logic doesn't punish you for it, it actually expects you to do it. And we get a shovel.
Yeah, and getting back to the minor glitches, hovering is not required. Hovering is a bit demanding and is not required in either no major glitches, and even not in major glitches logic.
And we see the cape on Zora Ledge. We could grab that, but it's not required for literally anything. So, oh, the biggest life lesson.
You could even grab that with the Boots Water Walk after you collected the Zora item, as long as you know how to do that. And we just got the question in the chat if dark rooms are in logic. No, dark rooms are never in logic.
Both runners making their way to the back of Escape. Check these three chests nice and quick. We get the mirror. Okay. Mirror, Bombos, and Heart Piece. That mirror is big.
Yeah, anyone up for a new part somewhere in the Dark World? With that mirror, we can have it.
Yep, there's a nice little mirror clip that lets you go down Death Mountain as a bunny and explore the Dark World, and some places are in logic as a bunny in the Dark World. And that can really throw you off a little bit.
We see PRD doing a Death Mountain ascent, doing an upwards teleport on that ledge that Eriror's on right now. Passes the screen transition without triggering it, making the game weird, thinking he is somewhere else, and when transitioning to the right, he can directly go to Death Mountain like that.
Yep, and there are many, many ways to get up Death Mountain with clips. This is kind of one of the more common ones. It's a nice clean route when you do it. But there are ways to clip straight up to Hera, to clip over to East Death Mountain to start out. There's all kinds of options.
That old man giving only 20 rupees, but also giving a nice second quit point. Going up this mountain for Darkwood is definitely a thing you can do quite often in a siege, so having that second quit point definitely helpful.
Cabbages started out being very mean to PR, now they're being kind of nice, and hey, we're in Tower of Hera. Just like that. So similar to what Michael was saying earlier with the Death Mountain Ascent, essentially what happened there was he passed the screen transition at the bottom without the game registering it as a screen transition, and that wrapped him around so that functionally he was at the top of Death Mountain despite visually still being at the bottom. And so in that particular place it hops you right to the staircase of Tower of Hera. You walk up, you go inside, and it resets your camera, and you're here.
And now we are doing something we usually call Turtle Rock climb, even though it's in the light world. This is usually used to get to Turtle Rock in the dark world. You just climb that little wall, and we are on East Death Mountain.
The only catch is while you're doing that little wiggle to get yourself up the path, you just never want to hit up. If you hit up, you're gonna be sad. You get the cruelest version of Spiral Cave. You've got the boots to go through here fast, but you don't have a sword, so you have to keep stopping for the enemies until they get out of your way.
And all that for a heart piece with a heart refill.
Now we're gonna head over to Paradox Cave. 7 items, pretty easy to get through. We got the mirror so we can go in the middle bottom room and make it even cleaner to route through. Well, there's
silvers.
Yeah, one of the few things these two did not find yesterday that, you know, they probably would have liked to have.
No, I don't know. The Master Sword Silvers from Eriror look very good.
Okay, and now we've got a bottle, so with the right combination of glitches, not logically required, just glitches that you can do in this mode, they could pretty much clear the game without the pearl at this point. It wouldn't be easy, but they could do it. That mini Moldorm was not being very kind to Eriror there, but he gets through it. He's going to do this bomb jump to exit out the top of Spiral Cave. Or Paradox Cave, not Spiral Cave.
Yeah, but what has he left? I guess Hera? Checking the first 2 chests and checking if he can complete it.
See, we're headed over this way, so we're gonna get a descent from Death Mountain here. I believe this should put him out near the Witch's Hut, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the Witch's Hut is different, but this should bring him to the Zora area, yeah. Didn't he check? Oh, he didn't check Zora. He only checked the waterfall cave last time.
Okay, yeah, I've only actually seen people go to Zora by clipping on the right side, so I thought he was setting up for something different going to the left. No, he was just gonna run over.
At the same time, we found Ether on PRD side at Starshurada's hut. Might be required for Maya, will not be required for Turtle Rock, no matter what. You don't really need the Turtle Rock medallion, even if it's a crystal.
Well, it could be required for Turtle Rock if you get the Nightmare Key layout.
Well, even then, you could... this would just be logically required. You could still grab the Poke Key and use that one instead. to go back a bit.
Okay, that's very true. You can kind of do some interesting stuff with keys to avoid it. Get a map out of Eastern and 3 bombs from Sick Kid. Neither of which are really interesting.
Better take those bombs away before the kid kills himself with those, I guess. Otherwise, not really useful.
Looks like we're gonna get a nice... Oh, no, we're gonna clip this way. Probably going to Checkerboard Cave now.
Not forgetting that he has a shovel. Could have routed in the shovel at that point quite easily.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's actually ever... Oh no, you can route in the shovel with Stumpy at least, so... Once he makes his descent from Death Mountain, he could do that in a ever so slightly faster manner.
But before the Stumpy is in logic, we will first need the moon ball. I think. Well, I guess you could talk to him without it in Super Bunny.
Yeah, he'd have to get Super Bunny, so I think barring a fake flute, he would need the Moon Pearl to be in logic, so I think you're right on that. Also, I'm actually surprised to see both of these two heading to Eastern Palace so early, but they get a glove out of it. Or not a glove, a hammer. They already had the glove.
Well, that will definitely allow some quick Dark World access around the world once we find the Moon Pearl. But I guess we will have to search a bit through Dark World for that Moon Pearl.
Yeah, we don't have many options left in Light World, so it's looking possible. It looks like PR might head into Hera now that he's got a weapon he can kill Moldorm with.
Not the Moon Pearl, but the flippers. They are only really required for a few items and Storm Palace. We can just Fake Flipper into Ice Palace to get that one. So, not required for that.
Interesting little note, because of the Moon Pearl being required for Waterfall Fairy, those flippers actually put the shovel into logic, which it wasn't before. We're heading upstairs in Hera, we're gonna have 2 more items. Eriror still got a ways to go until he gets that hammer.
And we got the second item, the cane of Brian. Brian, we got your cane. Come over. It's in Hera.
Doesn't quite put Spike Cave into logic yet, since you can't actually use the hammer as Super Bunny, but it's a good thing to have. Also, I just realized something. The flippers are... and the shovel is not actually in logic yet, because the flippers... and the hammer was through a dark room, so it's technically locked behind lamps still.
You can just get to the hammer the flippers location using bombs, so the chest is very early in logic.
Oh yeah, I'm dumb. I don't know why I was thinking hammer was required for that. So where is PR gonna head next? He's heading back to East Death Mountain. I'm gonna guess a clip up onto TR and opening the portal to go check Super Bunny Cave.
I would guess the same. Afterwards, possibly going into Turtle Rock. Not much available in there, but a few chests. Might be the Moon Pearl.
Oh god, trying to do this clip with no sword to block the dead rocks.
On the same side, at the same time, we've seen the escape from Eriror, and we go have a green pendant in Turtle Rock, a blue pendant in Prince of Darkness, and I think Ice Palace was the last 5-6.
Yep, you got it. And Eriror heading down into the bottom of Escape here. Getting the map in that first chest of Escape means that the small key is in the dark room, so they don't even have to worry about going there at any point. It is a pretty solid pendant crystal layout, though. You kind of hope for Swamp to be a pendant, so you don't have to worry about it, but they've already got mirror flippers and hammers, so they don't really care at this point.
Moon Pearl and Escape in Zelda style. Not in the Dark World, but we still get a few Dark World checks on PRD's side.
Yep, and he might opt to go down Death Mountain. He's actually on the wrong side for the usual clip of it. I'm guessing you can probably do it from this side as well. But he's actually...
I guess he will actually go into Turtle Rock now.
Yep, so here's a mirror clipping I was talking about earlier. You put a portal down, you walk into a different terrain, now you're on the ledge, you hop down, and boom! You're now able to access the middle of Turtle Rock without, needing the cane, without needing the medallion, without needing the mitts.
Even without needing the pearl. And even though we don't have the pearl, technically we could complete it if we get the items necessary for it in Turtle Rock.
I just feel the need to point out that Eriror just went up Death Mountain and mirrored out of the Dark World onto Spectacle Rock to go into Hera, which is one of those cases of NMG muscle memory just kind of kicking in and doing the thing you're used to.
Yeah, this is one of the things you will have to learn, avoid to do all the time. If you want to really have the greatest times. Well, granted, Eriror and PRD are both great players. Those little mistakes still are funny.
I was gonna say, Eriror actually does have the greatest time right now, so that counts for something.
And we just got the question, who is ahead? We can't really tell. Of course, Eriror already got the Moon Pearl, which is in a place that PRD might shake late. It's an escape. But PRD might go there next. And then find stuff he needs for other locations here in Turtle Rock.
So we find another bottle in Turtle Rock. For those in chat who have heard the term YBA in Link to the Past discussion before, which stands for Yuzuhara's Bottle Adventure, it is a frame-perfect glitch that this mode of the randomizer will never require, but can be done. The two main uses are getting to the blacksmith without the Titan's mids, with a pretty easy, I believe it's the red potion YBA, And if you do a blue potion on the same frame as you screen transition, you pull up the flute menu whether you're in the light or dark world and can flute around the world with reckless abandon without ever finding the flute.
And it appears that PRD will in fact get his moon pearl quite soon. He's heading towards escape.
Which is good for him. Eri is going to head over to East Death Mountain. Same clip as the Light World, just, going over that conveniently placed land bridge that some developer decided should be there for unknown reasons.
Well, I will take it if I can get over here without any problems.
And the bonk chest of Hookshot Cave is just a hard piece. That's as much as Eriror is going to get while he's in there. Now see, that map check makes me feel good, because trying to mark all the pendants and crystals on my tracker always takes me a while. And then some people just pull up the map for like a split second and put it away. It's nice to see someone else take the time to do that before putting the map away.
Oh, you will enjoy watching me. I take about 10 seconds to mark my crystals and stuff. It takes so long.
So Eri's also going to make the play into TR. He can do this a little bit different of a way. He's just going to clip through this ledge, and oh, he missed.
Yeah, this is one of the clips that get trivialized by having either the hook shot or sword for spin speed. Without it, it's a bit annoying.
It really is, and this is actually one of the longer times I've seen an Overworld glitch so you go without a sword, honestly. I feel like you usually find them pretty early.
Well, yesterday they said they would have loved to have an earlier sword, so never wish for something in Rando. We will not get it. We will get the opposite.
Also, worth a response in chat here. Hovering is never ever required by logic. Contrary to the comment about it making it incompletable for people on emulator, you can hover just fine on emulator. It's just a ridiculously difficult glitch to pick up, and no one's gonna try to force people to learn hovering. It's annoying to learn.
But at the same time, if you know how to hover, those chests that Eriror couldn't get in the Hookshot Cave, with hover, you could have gotten them. You might have saved yourself some time. And Eriror remembers he has the shovel and grabs the shovel, I think now.
And there's another sword. They got the first one in Hype Cave, hadn't actually mentioned that yet, but they get a second one from the shovel spot. They could have had that so very, very long ago.
Yeah, always check your fetch quests.
Also,
you will now see a trip into the Maya area to check the Maya medallion, which is required.
Yep, and if you're bugged by weird lights, shield your eyes. This is not the most visually appealing area to be in when you clip here. It'll be fixed as soon as he exits out of the Mire shed, but it is not fun to look at.
Could you see it? I think it was Quake.
Gonna try to catch this on the restream. It was... no, I could not make that out through the screen tweaking out.
Just found the bow in the Maya shed.
So the medallion to enter Misery Mire is one of the few things that we cannot sequence break in this mode. The entrance to Mire does not actually exist until you use that medallion.
And Eriror getting stuck. at least it happens some at one point in the tournament. At one point in the race, to point out, it's really easy to get stuck in while doing these clips. Even if it looks easy, it's really precise most of the time.
Yeah, if you're one pixel off, sometimes it goes from a super good time save to an infinite screen wrap where, oh, it's bombos.
Yes, thanks PRD for actually showing you that.
So we already have that medallion, so that's not an issue that's going to come up. We still have a lot of things still to find, though. Actually, I take that back. We only really have 3 things of major consequence left to find. The hookshot, the fire rod, and the cane of Samaria. That's really all we need to complete this seed at this point.
Yeah, and we actually see kind of an intended way to get into the checkerboard caves on PRD's side. We saw a clip in here on Eriror's side a bit earlier, but we of course can just mirror there, it's no problem.
Yep, and then I'm going to clip right back up, right back over, and he does not get stuck on the tree, so he can continue along this path here.
Hookshot, it's in C-Star, the second chest.
So now we can clear most dungeons. Also, there's a possibility... Oh, we also have the Cane of Samaria. I actually missed him picking that up.
I totally missed that as well.
So they just need to find a fire rod. And that was from Chess Game, our tracker, Hollowbro has informed me. So that's where I missed that one at.
Also, in NMG you need the Titansmith to get up from the race game, from the Being game. And our glitches, there's a clip for that.
I don't understand how... I mean, Fire Rod could be awful. It could be, you know, you gotta go all the way up GT to get it. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised to see them make the play on GT soon, because they can full clear the dungeon. But it could be somewhere awful, but they could also get it in like 2 minutes and be in go mode super early again.
They can clear GT except for chests. And if Suit for chest would have the big key, they couldn't clear for more chests.
Oh yeah, I forgot, they don't have any form of fire source yet. So I take it back, they can't full clear GT, which also means that they may put it off. So if the fire rod or the lamp are in there, it might be a while before they get up that way, because they got a lot of crystals they can full clear.
At the same time, we had our go mode yesterday against Towers, so we might actually go in there soonish, just because it might, you know, how it goes. We got burned by one location. We need to check it the next time instantly.
And worth noting for anyone who may not be familiar, they can get into Ganon's tower right now. If they get a fire source, they can go all the way up to Aga 2, they can kill him, and unlock the Ganon fight. But until they have all 7 crystals, Ganon's just going to call them a dingus, tell them he's invincible, and they will not be able to kill him in Phase 4. So you still have to beat everything in this mode, but you can do Ganon's tower at many, many points in that process. Eriror as expected.
Nice blind find from Eriror, yeah.
If you haven't seen him before, to those watching, he is very, very good at NMG. He is, I forget the exact time he's put up, but if I recall, he is sub 130. So he is very good at NMG, so boss fights should all be quite a pleasure to watch. Okay, and chat confirming a low 126. I thought it was that low, but I didn't want to say that if I wasn't accurate. I knew it was sub 130, so I went with that, but thank you to those confirming that. That's a phenomenal time.
A very phenomenal time. Much faster than the 215 I got for trying out NMG.
So Thief Sound has been wrapped up. We're going to go do the dig game part 2, which is going to be equally as useless for Eriror as it was for PR, but at least it's going to take the same amount of digs.
Who knows, maybe he will find a weak, catch it, and that's going to help him fight Mothra at some point. Otherwise, kinda useless. And routing works out nicely for Eriror. He will now just go over to Misery Maya. He got the cane in the chess game, so he can just do that now.
He was aligning getting upwards teleports instead of downwards, assuming he is trying to go to Meyer. That has happened to me before. It's just like, oh, come on. Now he's going to do a downward. Oh, no, he's going back up to Village of Outcasts.
Okay, making a lie out of me. Like always.
And he doesn't have the fire source, so he couldn't get those two left side chests, so if there was something important there, he would have to kind of double dip. So it makes sense to not come in, but it's also a decent place so that you could make, given what they've got.
And this time I actually catch the cane get from the chess game. Eriror will now go over, check the lumberjack item, which we know is a bomb upgrade.
If Lumberjack being another location that we really can't do anything about in Overworld glitches, it is the entrance similar to Meyer does not exist until you kill Aghanim and bonk the tree, so you can't just jump in there.
Yeah, he's doing something. I think he's going into GT now. Clipping in here, doing a jump, and he's in.
For those watching, an interesting thing to keep an eye on, when they do start doing those screen wraps, the game keeps track of your quote-unquote local position and global position separately. Your shadow will follow your global position. So if you see them on a screen where the collision is matching but you don't see their shadow, it's because the game thinks they're on a different screen somewhere.
And we just found our third bottle. Second for Eriror.
Heading through into Stalfos room here, we get a small key, another small key. Small keys tend to load up this room quite a bit in this mode. Power container and a level 2 shield. That was a terrible room. It's also for those who are familiar with how the fill works. Hey, the flute! That's not useful in the slightest, but we have it.
We could activate it and use it to get around, or we could just buy some blues and use those to get around.
Yeah, as I was saying, in normal modes, GT is pre-filled with between 5 and 17 items from the junk pool. In this mode, it is not pre-filled at all, so progression items can be here just as likely as everywhere else in the world. We're heading into Rando Room now, which, you know, might have something.
Half magic is something.
It is definitely something. Not something they were really, you know, directly looking for, but having stumbled across it on the path, no one's going to complain about that.
Well, you could complain about half magic if you're trying to empty your magic meter for the fake powder, but otherwise, yeah, sure, nice item to have.
Coming up on Bob's chest, which just tanking the damage, and hey, it's the big key. You see,
So
during the
complete this
Go ahead.
dungeon.
Well, we still need a fire source to complete it. I still don't
Right.
have either. ₹20 a map and a compass in the vanilla big key room.
So now let's open the chest that's usually ignored in Rando. No, the chest, it's actually a chest that I had to open a few times for really real progression.
Okay, so PR is not taking the time to check tile room while he's up here. Tile room does not require that fire source. It is one more location that could be checked. He's gonna say, if there's progression there, I don't want it. So now this has become a race of who's gonna find the fire rod first. And it looks like PR may be making the play into Swamp, which makes sense. There's not as many logical tells in this mode, but it's kind of screaming Swamp. Wouldn't you say so?
Definitely, we got the flippers quite early, we got the mirror quite early, and we quite recently picked up the hookshot and then quite early available chest, so not much locking the Swamp's seat.
Harry getting the worst room in GT and gonna go get the big chest, and then we'll see if maybe he decides to take that 45-second break.
It looks like he does.
The dream is real. They already have the big key and they're checking tile room, something that you will almost never see in No Glitch's logic. Now you get to see just how slow tile room is by comparison while you watch it go through, as the slowest dungeon in the game is progressed through by PR.
I would say tile room is quicker.
It's definitely quicker. This, just shows you how much of Swamp you can get through before it's done for that 5 arrow upgrade.
Those are 45 seconds PRD just gained on Eriror for not checking this one chest in GT.
Yep, and he is likely not going to check that chest ever. He might if he gets the lamp and decides to go upstairs GT, but if he gets the fire rod, he has no reason to. If he gets the lamp, he's probably going to go upstairs before bothering with tile room since he can get back there so quick.
And he just keeps rushing through Swamp Palace. It will be interesting to see if he will check the two left side chests once he's done with the dungeon. Probably when he has 30 items left, but otherwise I don't think so.
Yeah, but it's usually the go-to strategy in rando seeds that if you're one item away from go mode, just go straight to the back of Swamp. Go back in for the left side if you still need something. Tempered Sword is a nice get. Okay, so the odds of Swamp having this fire rod are getting lower and lower by the second. If you're one of these runners, where do you head after Swamp?
Well, I guess you could afterwards go over to check the pyramid ferry. We can't do the normal entrance, but we have our ways to get in there. And afterwards you could check Pyramid, Catfish, and go over to Palace of Darkness and maybe check our Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace, yeah?
It seems like a pretty reasonable course of action. You know, we can full clear both those dungeons, so they might be important. And it's been about, 20 minutes since we first pointed out that we were a fire rod away from go mode, and we're still a fire rod away from go mode. And this is kind of where the speed of getting around the world these glitches offer gets balanced out, because you tend to have so many options and there are so many places for things that even though you can move through the world quicker, you have a lot more to check at any given moment.
And apparently PRD is going back into Swamp Palace, finding the map in the big chest, so not really a useful item in there.
Yeah, we saw the compass earlier, so at least both of these chests over on the left side are items. That's better than some options. I could also see it being reasonable to make a bold play into Ice Palace. If you're feeling behind, you could say, you know what, wherever my next progression is going to be the Titan's Mitts. So I'm just going to sequence break past them, head into Ice, and hope for my Fire Rod in there.
That's definitely a play we can also make. Using the mirror, we can get in there out of sequence, even though we don't have the mids.
Yep, that's one of the much more difficult glitches that are considered out of logic, which is a mirror wrap. It essentially causes you to, when you mirror on the same frame that you transition a screen, it does weird things. In some cases, it'll be useful, like in one where you can go right into the inside of the walls around Ice Palace without the Titan's Mitt. In some cases, it can end up horribly.
And the left side of Swamp was useless, a heart container and some rupees, not really needed at this point.
Oh hey, he might be doing that thing I was just talking about. He is doing that thing. There's only one reason you'd be clipping up on this ledge.
Yeah, so he's going to bomb himself directly at the edge of the screen transition to not not accidentally mirror theory or do anything. Go over here, and the screen is kind of messed up. So he now finds the entrance to Ice Palace and is in.
And he nails it. If you walk like 1 pixel too high there, you end up in an infinite screen wrap. If you don't go high enough, you end up in the wall of Ice Palace. You have to be pretty particular to get in there safely. It's not super difficult, but it's not the easiest thing to line up.
Especially since I think he didn't save. If he would have not got it, he would have lost the completion of Swamp Palace at this point.
Yeah, and I think, if I recall correctly, PR after the race yesterday said that he assumed that he would lose time to Eriror just based off of his execution level. So I would guess this Ice Palace play is Aries not going to do this. I'm going to go in here because it's the ballsy move that might give me an advantage in finding an item before him.
It's definitely either one such play or he just doesn't care for mids.
That is also possible. I am a fan of the don't care about mids club. And no Ice Palace bomb jump, just gonna do this the easy way, and as expected, Eriror is making a different play. We'll see exactly where he's going here soon.
He might now think about Hookshot Cave. He couldn't get all items in there the last time, and maybe then go into Turtle Rock, which he wasn't able to do before because he failed the clip.
Yeah, both are good options for him. We get the magic powder out of ice, so magic bat is now a thing. Hookshot with a little bit of love, 20 bucks, and the worst boomerang. That was garbage.
Yeah, and he is going into Turtle Rock. He's going to mirror here, check Mummy Cave, going in, and then can just using the cane backtrack here and complete pretty much the entire dungeon if he wants to.
Yep, the only things he doesn't have access to are those 2 chests on the right side that are locked by the fire rod, and he cannot kill Trinex.
And based on the key layout, he might also not have access to the laser bridge.
That's very true. I couldn't remember if the big key was available when PR was in here earlier, so I didn't go into that. I'm glad you remembered.
I think PRD found a second barrel in the center chest, and I don't remember what was in Chain Jump chest.
I believe it was just a small key. So it could have let him go back to that first chest, but he didn't have the cane at the time.
And we found the lamp. The fire rod still can't be at the right side of Ganon's tower, except for Tyru, but we can get up Ganon's tower and find it up there now.
That's very true. The lamp is one of those things where if you're a PR and you make this play into ice, you might go up to GT just to push that lamp.
And we got the big Eriror now just mirroring out, going over here, and is able to get another small key from the big chest. So this should make Laser Bridge available.
Yes, I do believe it does. Technically, Laser Bridge is locked behind the mitts because the lamp was locked behind the mitts. So it is a sequence break, but it's a sequence break of the item people care the least about.
Yeah, what's a lamp anyway?
Almost tried to menu the fire rod there and then went, oh yeah, I don't have that yet. I need a bombos.
You know, the small fire rod that is a lamp isn't enough to unfreeze codes there. It's just not turned on high enough.
Cold Stare does break out of the corner, but with Red Mail and Tempered Sword, you're usually in pretty good shape, although PR is getting kind of low on health. He's not really caring about damage, he's just kind of tanking it. He uses this red to be safe.
He should have another red. The red potion, the potion and
oh my god!
There we go. PRD is in go mode.
The play that just... I can't believe that worked out like that. That's fantastic. So at this point, all PR has to do is clear Desert, Skull Woods, and Mire, and then finish off GT and kill Ganon. We'll see when Eri makes the play into Ice Palace. It kind of looks like he might be considering going there now.
Definitely looks like it. And it will put him right on track for the go mode. But I will guess he will first clear a lot of things in there.
Oh no, he's going up to pod.
It's definitely a reasonable play, and he is trying past it, making a liar out of us. Going to check the pyramid? And I would personally have been a fan of shaking pyramid together with pyramid fire, but what am I to judge? Eriror was the one with the 110, not me.
Yeah, I guess kind of the catch with that is if you don't get that mirror portal just right and it becomes impossible to get out of the Pyramid Fairy, then you have to go back to the Dark World and everything, where Pyramid is a pretty quick check on the way to pod. I'd also just like to note that the biggest fire source that doesn't work as a fire source locked both the fire sources that do work as a fire source.
Rando can be funny sometimes. It has a nice sense of humor.
Now the question is, what will happen first? Will Eri decide to make the play into Ice without the mitts, or will he find the mitts and go, oh, Ice Palace is open, I'll go in there?
I would hope he would find the mitts soon, if that is the thing that keeps him away from Ice Palace, because I would love to see a close race between Zeus and not one that's just decided by not checking one location.
Also, oh dear, I just thought of the logic on this, and the logic wanted you to go into Ice Palace without the hammer to get the lamp out of the big chest, to leave Ice Palace, go get the hammer out of Eastern, to come back in and get the fire rod off Cold Stair. That is evil.
Two words that we got Dark Room navigation. The Eastern Palace is one of the easiest one to learn.
If it definitely serves benefit. Oh, mirror bonk. Stupid mirror bonks.
Yeah, that mirror bonk is the reason I don't place the portal in those rocks. Just place it next to it and lift the rocks if you got some love upgrade.
We give Bombos, the only medallion required in this scene, one more run for its money to open up Mire here.
And as chat is pointing out, Titansmids can be hammerlocked, so they will not be on Hammerstone. They might be somewhere in the back of Palace of Darkness, they might be on Hour's Night.
They can't actually be in the back of pod because the lamp was hammer locked. Or no, wait.
Oh.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
Never mind. Yeah, they could be in the back there.
No, they can't because the lamp was mid-locked. So...
Oh yeah, that's what we're going for.
Just in Palace of Darkness where the mids could have been.
I'm gonna laugh when mitts are on the right side of Mire and the big key is on the left side. So far, just a map and a small key out of chest, so nothing of note. Did not see either of those items pop up. Oh no, one of them was a small key. I take that back.
Getting one item in the vanilla compass chest.
Come on, vanilla big key. Eriror makes his way out of the dark maze, swings his sword a little bit. He seemed to get a little bit lost in there. He is not very happy with that door. Okay, the dream of forced Mire double dip is dead.
Yeah, the mids will not be able to be on Midfields because lamp was again mid locked, so you will not need to do dark rooms at all without lamp. So this means mids will not be here.
Which is a relief, given the fact that they don't show up in the dark rooms, and if you don't notice that you have them, that can be really annoying. He gets Butter Sword out of it, though.
Same chest as PRD got the Butter Sword yesterday. Was as well in the big chest of Palace of Darkness.
So once again, the player who finds Go Mode later has the sword advantage that the other runner will never get.
This time it was a pennant though. But at the same time, Gold Sword and Temperate Sword are not that different on Ganon. Time-wise, they could even be even if you execute right.
Yeah, if you nail the 1-in-1 cycle, which with enough practice you can do pretty consistently, then there's zero difference for Ganon. They would make a small amount of difference if somebody decided to go fight Trinex after getting the Fire Rod, which would be a weird choice, but it would make a small difference.
Would also make a difference on King Hammersaw. 2 slashes against either Shades to Silvers or 4 slashes.
We'll never see the other item out of Mire unless Eri gets it before going into Ice. It could be the mitts, and it could be a logically forced double dip, with the Dark Room being the forcing factor.
Well, unless the second item is in the big chest, he will definitely not see the other item, because well, he doesn't have the lamp or the fire rod to check those the vanilla big chest.
Very true, we do get the big chest of Skull Woods and the compass. That was not that hype. So I do think the Skullwood play from Eri is pretty reasonable. For those unfamiliar with the logic of this, as soon as they got the mirror, Skullwoods was in logic up to the back. So this has been a location they've had available very, very early in the run, ever since they did the back of Escape, and he gets him the book. That's like one of the worst things he could have gotten.
Well, I guess we could check right now, but everyone knows that the one item he needs will not be on pedestal.
And PR getting to just run past the entirety of this dungeon, because you don't need anything out of chests to beat it. So he's just going to grab the one small key on the way through the middle here, head to the back, kill Moth, and head right back to GT.
And since he already found the big key in Venezuela, he can just run up. He can do the same thing as everyone does in Key Sanity, just run up the middle. A mushroom,
Oh my
really?
lord! Why, Gabe? I mean, he's already extremely behind because that Gamble and Dice Palace worked out so well. But now the game is just feeding him fetch quests from fetch quests. That's just mean.
And Chet just pointed out, the hammer packs would be actually in logic, even though the area they are in is usually locked by Titesmiths, by those black rocks. We can use some shenanigans with some clips and get there through the water that surrounds the pyramid and Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a slow check, but it's pretty easy to do. Just, it takes quite a bit of time. It's something that you're probably going to put off as long as you can.
And we're going to see a flute activated.
Yep, and he has also drained his magic to do fake powder, which we know can't have the mitts because the powder was in Ice Palace. trying to figure out the logic of this seed is kind of entertaining, and I'm real glad that Eriror is sticking to it and showing us how silly the myths are going to be for him.
Well, at least he did sequence stroke the hammer. Well, I guess it might actually, in this case, turn against him, because if he would have not have the hammer, he would have much less chests.
Yeah, unlike NMG rules, the hammer doesn't lock much on the overworld, but it still locks a bunch in dungeons, and not getting it wouldn't make as big of a difference as those normal seeds, but it would probably still have cut down on what he could do a little bit and might have helped direct him to the mids.
Also releasing his speed to fill up on some potions, probably a blue one. Getting a blue rupee. First the green potion to fill up the magic. And ignoring any other potions, so making a light out of me.
PR is just working his way through the gauntlet. It's the one area of this game that is 100% the same thing every time you go through. Maybe a little bit different equipment, but you know what to expect. So that's usually by the time you're going through this, you're feeling pretty good. You're kind of giving yourself over to muscle memory and experience over trying to think things through.
Also, Eriror just showed off again that clipping and Overworld just makes stuff much more convenient. We didn't have to carry a Darkwood portal to Bombo's tablet. We just could go in next to the from desert and was able to just go in. And I think he's going to do Pyramid Ferry now.
Yep, it seems like that. That is a prime spot for where the myths could be. And PR is up to Lambo 2 already. He is blazing through this gauntlet, no problem. Kills Lambo on the 0 cycle.
So since we are seeing this glitch, Eriror will now go into a very specific position here, but relatively precise. If he is off by too much, he might have the mirror portal at a place where he can't use it. If he's too off, he might even put the mirror portal in directly into a wall. It happened to me a lot. And he will now just walk from down into the portal. This will make him face up in the wall to the Pyramid Ferry and directly trigger the transition.
And there are the mids. Again, Pyramid Ferry, much like that play into Skull Woods, is something that has been available since the very moment they got that mirror.
You would not even need the pearl for that one. You get Super Bunny while entering that that pyramid.
And he is going to go do the blacksmith and the purple chest with those mids. 2 of the 3 things that mids actually lock in this mode. Unfortunately, they're wrong 2 out of 3 things.
Everyone must think if he doesn't gamble now, he already lost. And yeah, it's a bit late to gamble.
And also, PR accidentally poked Moldorm too, so we saw the rarely seen enraged Moldorm, who knocked him off, and then as soon as he walked back up, was like, no, I told you to stay away, go down there. Yeah, it should be noted that the Smith chain is a better play than Ice in terms of speed of checks, even not notwithstanding the idea of different gambles or anything, just it's a much faster check, and it'll leave you off down by swamp where you could even just do a mirror wrap into ice if you got nothing important.
Or you could just go over and swim into ice pads because you got the mitts.
That too, but that's boring. We are having a solid Aga 2 fight so far, but of course, as I started to say that, he misses entirely on cycle 3, so...
That was definitely planned from you, Mentos. You know that commentary curse is real.
On the bright side, he got the hit the next time, so he's heading on to Ganon in a very unusually vanilla ending to this seed. And Tempered Sword, Silver Arrows, 12.5 hearts on hand, Red Mail. He shouldn't have any issues. It's a really terrible spot to start phase 2. I mean, it works, but you don't have any way to get double hits or anything. You just kind of have to go with what you got.
Well, you got a nice slash with a knockback between the bats that were coming in, so that was nice.
His health is starting to get to that level that's a little bit worrisome. Ganon is the final boss. They expect you to have red mail for it, so his hits do still hurt you with red mail. He's gonna go ahead and use that red potion.
He does have red potions, so yeah, he is fine. But he still wants to watch out a bit.
As long as he doesn't fall off the ledge, this is pretty much a done deal. This fight will be over.
Yes, we did find the arrows.
Gets a double, lights both torches, gets a second double, and that will do it. prdwong will tie up this series.
Get your GGs and chests.
And with that, prdwong has finished with an official SRTV time of 1:23:03. Another very fast seed. Not as fast as yesterday, but still very, very fast.
The two races we had between the two, Bush went about half an hour faster than my quickest seed, so yeah. You pretty much see them do quite well in the tournament.
We do have PR in the setup room here, so he should be joining us shortly. And here he is, our winner, prdwong. How you doing? And then there was silence. Harry is working his way through Ice Palace here. He'll soon be coming up on the Bombos Cold Stare fight that will get him his Fire Rod. So that'll be, you know, a good moment for him, being like, so this is how I lost. Honestly,
Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you now. How you doing?
I guess it's the kind of seed that I wanted.
Yeah, that Ice Palace play, it worked out for you, didn't it?
Yeah, I was just gonna go through all the crystal dungeons, and I got all the items for Swamp, so I was like, okay, trying to point me in that direction. Of course, it was nothing. But then I was like, well, I'm right next to Ice Palace, and I need to finish that anyway, so I'll just do that. I was like, oh man, it opened up a whole host of other places. Hilarious that Cold Stairs has the fire rod though.
Yeah, did you catch where the Titansmiths were?
See it on the stream, yeah. So it's in Pyramid Fairy. That's kind of early actually.
Yeah, it was logically available ridiculously early. And unfortunately for Eriror, his biggest thing that hurt him here was he kept trying to stick with the logic, and those myths were near the last location he could have checked.
Yeah, I'm basically always going to ignore the myths. I really don't need it for anything. But I think if Ice Palace had turned out to be a bus in the next place to go to, I think that's what I was thinking. I could do Pyramid Fairy into area, and then probably.
Yeah, Pyramid Fairy was the thing we thought you would do once you finished Swamp Head, and you definitely made a lie out of us.
Interested to see what Eri thought of the beginning of the seed, but I was actually reasonably happy, because if you can tell by our playing, a lot better at me than in the raw execution. Always going to be losing like 5 to 10 minutes just going through the dungeons compared to him. It's like the first round, the required items early, I'm pretty much toast. The beginning of the seed gives us basically nothing. Like, we just had a bunch of rupees, I think, in going through Kakariko. Then I think that helps put me back on.
Yeah, we were a little bit concerned early because Eriror got that Moon Pearl out of Escape a decent chunk earlier than you. Not super long, but, a few minutes, maybe like 5 or so. And you had meanwhile gone up to Death Mountain and gotten Super Bunny. It was somewhat concerning that maybe you were going to mirror clip down off Death Mountain and start exploring some of the Dark World and miss that pearl for a while. Then you went straight to Escape at that point. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was really hoping Moon Pearl was somewhere in the Dark World. I think that's another thing that would give me an advantage. But early, I would have gone down Death Mountain and started checking out other Dark World locations, like Village of Outcasts. The feeling that Eri is probably going to be checking out all these accessible Light World locations early on, and so I better not put them off too late. So yeah, I was afraid that he might have done Escape a little bit early. Really liked the play because as soon as I entered, I was like, oh, the map and the key are still at large, so there's really only 2 items here. Turned out to be the right play.
Trying to think what else was odd about this seed. It did give you the Ice Rod nice and early, and as expected, Turtle Rock was a pendant and Trinex was never required.
Fine. I'm fine with finding Ice Rod early because it doesn't open anything. Yeah, I don't want to see Hammer or Gloves early, because if Eri gets like the standard entrances into Dark World, then again he's going to be faster than me. both have to do a bunch of glitches to get off of Death Mountain a bunch of times, then maybe I can make up a little bit of time.
Oh yeah, and did you realize how rude the logical progression through this seed really was?
I think so.
Well, you had the hammer in the vanilla big key chest at Eastern. You had the lamp in Ice Palace in the big chest. So I wanted you to do Pyramid Fairy for the mitts, go into Ice Palace without the hammer, get the lamp, leave Ice Palace to go to Pendant Eastern to get the hammer, and then come back and kill Cold Stare for the crystal and the fire rod.
Yeah, that sounds pretty terrible. I've given up following the lamp logic, because it's just...
We kind of started following it between me and Michael and the people in chat, just because with the fact that it locked the hammer, and then, okay, well, that's an Ice Palace. And then it became kind of interesting, like, okay, how many hoops does the seed want you to jump through to get that hammer?
And Eriror just did some spooky Maya action here.
Yep, taking advantage of actually having the flute in this mode for once, to do some spooky action at a distance. It's always fun to see. It's such a weird glitch. And TR, you finished with a 133 collection rate. Not quite on par with how stupidly low the collection rate in the race yesterday was, but very, very low.
I'm happy with this performance. I mean, anytime that you don't have to clear out most of the overworld, it's pretty... you can be pretty happy about that kind of seed.
Not only was a big chunk of the was not required, you didn't have to go into any pendant dungeons beside Eastern Palace for the hammer.
Although Pod did have the butter sword. So if you wanted that, you just needed to do the big chest of Pod. So do you have any other, thoughts on anything specific in the seed that came up throughout PR?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered most of it. I am wondering if Eri knows how to clip into Ice Palace. I kind of assumed he did, so I didn't really think I had lead.
Yeah, I was planning to ask him that once he finishes up and joins us in here, because I'm pretty curious about if he was looking for those mitts because he needed them, or just because he wanted to stay in logic as well.
Would be that if he gets to the point in the seed where he's gotta and start checking locations for progression, then there's me. Because I'm hoping that glitches to more efficiently route more of the checks.
That makes sense. And yeah, I think the Ice Palace play, I kind of looked at it expecting that it was a little bit of a gamble on your front. You're facing someone who I heard you say yesterday you knew his execution was a little bit stronger. So maybe going into Ice, like, he's not going to do this. But from the sounds of things, it definitely sounds more like it was just, well, I'm right here, I'm never going to be right here again. So let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I did give some thought, like, to go mode Ice Palace, then wow, I lost a lot of time here, but I didn't really like any of my other options. I could have gone and done that Pyramid Fairy chain, but I didn't really want to go into Turtle Rock or Pod or anything like that. Limited.
I guess I'll add, it looks like I just looked at the schedule to see if you two had scheduled Game 3 at the start. Looks like that's to be decided now that it's necessary.
Is just a little better than me. He's a lot better than me. So I'm planning for Game 3.
I know that feeling, but it's Randomizer. You are quite good at the game yourself. His execution may be better, but you're quite good at the game yourself, so it's anybody's game.
Yeah, we'll have to set up Game 3 sometime.
I'm certainly looking forward to watching it. You two have put on quite a show in Games 1 and 2 here. And
Super fast. Today's seed was, I would say, kind of more normal. Ugly slugfest next time.
I hope so, because like every practice seed I've done for Overworld glitches since this tournament was announced has been awful. And I've watched you guys' races, and they've been such great seeds, and I want to see you guys deal with the awful. And Eriror did get his 7th crystal and is heading back into GT. So he should be done within about 5 minutes or so. Maybe that's a little bit lowball. Maybe like 6 or so.
Yeah, with Goat Sword, Fire Rod, Half Magic, several arrows, there should be nothing standing in his way.
And he's got, what is it, 16 hearts? Because somehow in Overworld glitches, you always end up with a lot of hearts.
Yeah, I think my personal lowest heart count I had at all glitches was 13 hearts. You seem to not be able to avoid most of the hearts.
So PR, if you want to hang around until Eri gets in here, if you want to say anything to him when he does, feel free. I think we can kind of focus on Eriror's gauntlet here. Should be quite fun to watch. Making very good use of the fire rod. Unfortunately, bonks the BMOS there, so didn't quite get that room as smooth as being a pixel higher would have let him.
And still much smoother than most people would do it. I say that as he gets bullied by the next room.
Good old commentator's curse. Has a little bit of a mistake on Lambo there, gets himself hit, and because of that misses the 0 cycle, but just needs 1 butter slash to end it on cycle 2, so...
Yeah, those lightward bosses are pretty much overkill with having the butter sword.
Just went through my 2 favorite rooms in the game, because pulling off the Samaria kill on those things are wonderful. The most important part of any GT climb. No sprite despawn. Hooray!
Not checking any additional chests like you should. At this point you don't need anything anymore.
Yep, sometimes in cases like this you open them just to, you know, delay the inevitable a little bit, give chat a little bit more information. But for the most part, you're usually just trying to finish up and you don't need anything, so why bother? Actually, now that I think about it, the only two items that he doesn't have... Actually, I believe he should have gotten powder out of Ice Palace, although it's not marked on the tracker. So the only item that he could get would be a cape, which is on Zora Ledge, so it can't be there.
The only other item that would be possible would be the Force Spotter.
Also starting off Aga 2 with a 3-2. He gets that hit on cycle 3. That is the lowest guaranteed amount of cycles that you can get Aga 2 in. You might be able to get him in 2 if you're lucky, but because of blue balls, 3 is the lowest guaranteed number of cycles you can kill him in. Now we approach the ever so slightly easier Ganon fight, where PR needed 12 swings apiece for phase 1 and 2, Ariel needs 6. And that's the only difference.
The only other difference is if Eriror would decide to go serverless, he could just poke the pig 24 times and it would be enough.
Not gonna lie, it would be really enjoyable to watch someone try to do serverless strats with butter pokes.
I actually practice it a bit, and it's funny to do, and it's not really hard. If you know servers, it's quite easy to get used to that.
It's true, and to answer the question about the big key in chat, they got the GT big key better part of an hour ago, maybe even more than an hour ago at this point. So I don't remember. I know it was on the left side, but other than that, I got nothing.
I think it was in Bob's chest, and Eriror finishing with a nice triple shot here.
Yep, and that will do it for him.
Finishing with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 43 minutes and 25 seconds.
So that's about almost exactly 20 minutes after PR. And that's kind of the benefit of how much that Ice Palace play worked out. In some seeds, PR is going to take that with that gamble. In some seeds, it's going to cost him, and that Fire Rod is going to be in pod or in TR, and it'll go the exact opposite way.
And we are joined by Eriror. GG.
Yo, GG. Oh, that was quite the time. I don't think I would have beaten that at any point. This seed was not my cup of tea. So really nice time, GG's.
Yeah, we wanted to ask. Did you especially searched for the Titansmiths? Or would you have been able to just finish the seed with a Fire Rod?
Yeah, I could have used just Fire Rod. I didn't need the mids, but I felt like I wasn't on logic yet, even because of the hammer being lamp locked. So I was like, okay, let's just do some normal stuff that I know that I have access to first. And then I didn't feel like it was necessary to go into ice. I felt that I had other stuff to do, and at some point I felt that POD might have gone into ice earlier anyway, and then I would have lost. So I was like, okay, let's just find the mids, because if he went into ice without them and didn't find them yet, then it could be on, then the fire rod could be on Smith route, and then I would have had the advantage. So there was, at some point, it was just, okay, my opponent would do it earlier, and at some point was, okay, I'm gonna need the mids in order to win because of Smith route or something.
It's definitely a fair line of thinking. Didn't work out this time. Might have worked out in another seed, but
Yeah, that's rando. But it was, yeah, quite a different beginning from last seed, so it was pretty interesting. Of course, after everything that we could do, the Moon Pearl ended up being an escape, so it was a bit less interesting, but it was a nice change of pace.
yeah, we were fantasizing about Moon Pearl in schools, Age of the Outcast, and then for just in the cell, locked away behind a big guard, having a ball and chain.
Yeah, the Princess of Jewelry.
I saw you mention in the race chat there, so I'm guessing that you picked up on just how stupid the logic of the seed was.
Yeah, if you consider that the game expects you to do the mirror into Fat Fairy to get the mids, in order to get the lamp in Ice Palace, and then to get the hammer in Eastern, to go back to Ice and beat it. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. I don't remember where Bombos was, but I think that was pretty early.
Yeah, I know that the Bombos medallion was before you even checked Misery Maya. And yeah, you checked Maya quite early after getting into the Dark World.
Of course, it would be beautiful if Bombos was in Eastern, but I really don't remember.
Bombos was in the back of Escape with the mirror.
Okay, right, yeah, you're right. So there was quite some nice logic going on, yeah. But again, after we had Dark World Access, it wasn't that long before we were close to go mode once again. Because after checking Meyer, did we only need the Fire Rod at that point, together with maybe a sword? No, we had Master Sword by then. Anyway, I was...
After shaking the Maya, you still needed the Red Cane, the Hookshot, and the Fire Rod. Red Cane and Hookshot were found 5 minutes later.
Yeah, exactly. So it was it was pretty similar to last seed after the wacky start. It just took me a bit longer to find the go mode item this time.
Yeah, I want to say it was around like 30 minutes in. I'm like, well, all they need is a fire rod for go mode, so we'll see how this goes. And then it was like another 30 minutes later when the fire rod got found. It's like, hey, I've been looking for you.
Yeah, but this is how many Overworld Lich are going. You find most of the stuff, and then the last 1 or 2 items are really trolly.
Yeah, I'm having pretty varied experiences with Overworld glitches. Sometimes it just, everything falls into your lap, and sometimes you have to do the wackiest sequences. But at least I got to do some stuff that I haven't done before, so that's cool. I kind of improvised on the Fat Fairy mirror thing, because I didn't know how to do it before today, so I guess it kind of worked out.
Well, you did that pretty well for not having done it before.
I practiced it once before.
Yeah,
before the stream started.
I personally was a bit worried that you would have been a bit high, but it was low enough, so you were fine.
With that, any final thoughts you have to share before we start to wrap this up?
Yeah, we're gonna need to schedule a game 3, and aside from that, yeah, I hope the third one will just be as good. We've had some pretty good races so far. I've been having fun with this, and that's really all I can say. Thank you guys for commentating and tracking, and yeah, hope to see you guys next seed as well.
Yeah, thanks for commentating, guys.
Thank you guys for putting on another fantastic race. If you guys have not already, you can feel free to drop these two runners a follow, prdwong and Eriror PS on Twitch. They are both very good runners of this game. You'll probably see them practicing for more runs in this tournament, but they're both worth dropping a follow to catch some stuff when they're on.
Also, thanks to Overworld 1994 for tracking for us. A very thankless job doing the tournaments and daily races, but really needed. Without them, we would be lost.
Absolutely, and schedule-wise, for today we only have one more match on the schedule. It's going to be at 8 p.m. EDT, which is Durand versus Act the Boker, a matchup that I'm going to be following very closely as I get the winner of that match. So, but if you want to catch that, that'll be on Speed Gaming 3 later tonight. We have more matches scheduled throughout the week. We have 3 of them on the schedule for tomorrow, another 2 on Friday, another 4 on Saturday. So this is a small tourney, but you're going to get a good deal of races out of it.
And if you are looking for some more normal Link to the Past, there will be the daily starting in about half an hour over on Speed Gaming 5. And in 1.5 hours there will be LG Andy versus Pink Kitty Rose on directly here on Speed Gaming 1.
Yep, and that is game 3 of their tournament matchup in the semifinals. So if you're a fan of Randomizer, you don't want to miss that race. It's gonna be real good.
But with that, I think that was it from us. So thanks, Mentors, for commentating with me.
Thank you as well. It was quite fun working with you. And for those of you watching, thank you for coming out and watching this tournament and this race. It's kind of fun to have this little odd tournament of a lesser played mode going on, and having people show up to watch it makes it all the more worth putting on.
Well, we wish you all a good day, so see you next time.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye!